If you've been paying any attention to the new shows that have been dropping over the last 5 years, you might have realized that Apple TV has a complete chokehold on the entire industry as a whole, it seems. I think that this is for a good reason. I believe that Apple TV is the best streaming platform that is out right now. I think that it is heavily, heavily underrated, but I believe that what comes with that is a lot of people starting to conflate every single show and saying that they are the best show of all time. That is just not how it works. I quote Syndrome from The Incredibles: if everybody's super, then no one can be. If you're always saying that everything is the best, then how am I supposed to trust any of your opinions when it comes down to watching the show? Now, I of course think that Severance is the best show I've ever seen, and I think that a lot of people start to compare things with Severance because it is, in a way, the golden goose. If you like movies and shows just like me, leave a like and subscribe, and we're going to talk about my rating of Widow's Bay at the end. Of course, this is what we're talking about today. Widow's Bay is the new poster child for Apple TV until Ted Lasso begins again in about 5 days. Widow's Bay is the one that everybody is talking about. And I think for good reason. I do think that this show is good. I just don't think that it is as good as a lot of people are saying. Now, this is about Matthew Rhys, who lives on a haunted island that he is the mayor of. I have only ever seen Stephen Root, who plays Wick. He is my favorite character in this movie. He really, or in this show, rather. He is really just a standout in everything that I've seen him in. When you watch him for a little bit, if you might not recognize him at first, you will eventually know, oh, I've seen this guy in a lot of different roles. He takes the role of the old crazy guy that actually knows how the island works, whereas the mayor is trying to get people to come over to the island so that they can get their tourism up and start rebuilding their economy and do all the things that a mayor should want to do. But he is starting to face these facts that he is glaring into the abyss of, this knowledge that he doesn't want to agree with, that the island is haunted. And as time goes on, the people that live in the town start to say to him, hey, why don't you go and do all these things that you think that it's not haunted? Like, go stay in the haunted inn, go and take a swim in the haunted lake, and all these things. And so he starts to do them. And through doing all of these things, he begins to see all these different sort of demons and spells. Now, I'm not the biggest horror fan, as anyone that's watched some things on my channel would probably know. It's just not my first choice. It's not really my cup of tea, but I thought this show did a great way with the horror genre of doing, not slasher and violence and scare. It was more psychological and your mind playing tricks on you and, your biggest fear coming to life and you doing things while you're kind of possessed and not even knowing what you're doing. And the whole thing sort of has this very campy feel to it. I mean, even when you look it up on Google, it says Widow's Bay. Did you mean the next Martha's Vineyard and definitely not Cursed? I think this is so cool. The mayor the entire time refers to Widow's Bay as the next Martha's Vineyard. I thought that was very, very fun and lighthearted, to have that just on the Google. I really, really like that. And that kind of sums up the show for me. I think that the show is very campy. It's very suspenseful. The dialogue is really one of my major pitfalls with it. I think that everybody in the show is acting a little too awkward and a little too meek, which is one of my biggest pet peeves with character writing in movies or shows at all. When a character is just constantly, oh yeah, I'm the loser, everybody knows, I'm a little pussy, I'm just gonna walk around being, scared the entire time. I kind of don't like when people have to lean into that, but I can see the character development of this show. Now, I'm not gonna get into every single one of the 10 episodes that there are. I do think it's worth watching. Most of the episodes are short, so it's easy to get into, but I think on the whole, the storytelling is what drives this forward, and really the premise as well. And that's the reason why I will want to come back and see it again in season 2. I just don't think that there was enough substance and character development this time around, but there will be in the future. I hope that Widow's Bay can keep this up, and that it's not another cooking with chemistry situation where they only make one season and then just abandon it. I really enjoyed that show, and that was very upsetting for me to figure out that they just canceled the entire thing. Now, I want to go over the cast with everybody. I think that if you're one of these people that is complaining about not seeing new faces in a lot of movies and shows nowadays, look no further than something like Apple TV. There's a joke going around that if you look hard enough, you'll find your favorite actor working in season 5 of some Apple TV show. But a lot of these people, yes, some of them are notable, a lot of them are fresh. And when you see them, because you haven't seen them in a lot of things, or you might not have seen them at all, it really, really helps with this storyline of thinking, wow, this is like some faraway place with a haunted feel to it. And you're getting to see all of the monsters come through and how each person reacts to it. Now, there are definitely a lot of rage bait scenes in this. There's one where they're going through the family lineage to try to find a guy and kill him and destroy his body so that they can kill the curse and all this stuff, and it just takes forever for them to get to the point that it's, and I know that that is the joke of the scene, but it was just kind of annoying. I found myself a few times skipping through a little bit of it because the dialogue just felt so forced, and it did feel like the plot was just up in the air and then being over-explained, which is, I think, something that a lot of people are doing right now. I think that each one of these episodes as well was produced by somebody different, sort of like Severance. And I think that, doubt is starting to creep in with some of these people that get these jobs of, oh, if I don't rely on the old trope of such and such thing in movie making or film production, then it's not going to work with the audiences. And I just wish that some people would trust the audience more. That's another problem that I had with just recently watching Christopher Nolan's Interstellar for the first time. That will be my next review. I just sort of thought that the entire time he's like redriving the plot home because he thinks the audience is stupid. And I guess for the most part, people that watch movies, they watch movies casually. They talk through them. They get up and go to the bathroom. Sometimes they miss a line that they might not think is super important. And I just think that leads to directors having to dumb themselves down, and it did feel like that in the show. Now, even though the plot is not completely clear, they're just trying to find answers about what's going on the island and how to stop it. I definitely thought that was a major pitfall. I also thought that there were some phenomenal scenes and performances when they'd go and dig up the dead guy who's been dead for like 250 years. His performance is so electric. His voice is like this thunderous demon growl. And I love that he's like a monster and he's scary, but he's not like jump scaring you. He's more so creepy and suspenseful. And that's where I think this show has all of its legs. I think that they relied too heavy on dialogue in this first season, and they'll likely learn in the next. I apologize for this gameplay. I know that I'm just dying over and over and over again. But, hey, this is the best that we've got right now. I gotta go and get some more GTA gameplay. I'm basically just spawning in a car, and then I'm running away from the cops because I spawn in me having the max wanted level. And shout out to San Andreas, man. I love being able to just type in a cheat code on my computer keyboard, and it just works. That shit is so fun to me. If you like GTA, man, leave a like, leave a sub. Anyways, I think that they need to rely on the things that they're good at much more than the things that they are relying on currently with all of this dialogue. I think that that's really my main takeaway from it. Now, do I think that it was a bad show? No, I thought it was great and it had really good potential. But I think a lot of people are talking so out and about this being the best show they've ever seen, and everyone's obsessed with it, and it's better than Severance and all this stuff. Guys, just because a show is good doesn't mean that it has to be the best thing you've ever seen. Sit down and think about it logically. Of all the things that you've seen, you really think that you've never seen something better than Widow's Bay? If that's the case, maybe it's right up your alley and you love horror. But I think that that cannot be the case for the mass, the majority of people that watch this show. And I think that it's a little bit performative to sit there and say that everything that Apple TV touches is gold. That's really all I have to say about that today. I wanted to talk about Widow's Bay because I just finished it and I thought, man, everybody is saying that it's just great, and I just disagree. So if you like this video, again, leave a like, leave a sub, and watch some of my other videos. We have been really pumping up the quality recently. I feel like my last few videos have been amazing. This one might not be as good, but of course we're going to be coming back with Interstellar. So if you haven't seen any of my videos, I would suggest going through and watching the most recent, like 10 to 20 of them. That's when I started this new content form of doing the gameplay and just me talking, because I don't really want to constantly have to be switching to my face and zooming in the camera and doing all of these things that I don't really think is authentic to me. This is the way that I like to make videos. I'm going to keep doing it, and I appreciate all the supporters that have been with me thus far. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.